What are fractions? How do we find half of something? How do we find a quarter of something? What does all this mean? Well, find out in today's video. What is going on, guys? It is Mr. Rice Shoots in here, and I'm back with another video. And in today's video, we're going to be working out how to find half and a quarter of a number. But before we get into that, you guys need to understand what a fraction actually is. Now, the official definition of a fraction is simply that the fraction is a part of a whole. So that means it's the part of a whole number. I'll explain that in a little bit more detail. So on the screen in front of you, I'm going to be drawing 4 circles, and this is going to represent a whole. So 4 circles will be the whole number, so that'll be 4 out of 4. So you can write it like this, you can put 4 at the top and 4 at the bottom. And that means that the whole number is 4 altogether, because it's 4 out of the 4 circles. I hope that makes sense. And now I'm going to move on to the next bit. So as you can see on the screen, we have 4 out of 4. Now the fraction actually has 2 parts which are very important to remember. First we have the numerator, which is the bit at the top, and the denominator, which is the bit at the bottom. The denominator represents the amount of parts there are altogether, and the top part represents the amount of parts that we have out of the whole, so out of the denominator. So now I'm going to remove one of the circles, and we only have 3 left. And that means that there's only 3 out of the 4 circles remaining. So what we do is we change the top number from 4 to 3, but we keep the 4 the same, so it represents 3 out of 4, or 3/4. So guys, I know we're early in the video, but I think it's already time for a quick quiz. So on the screen, Mr. Ryan Jr. is going to draw 6 circles, and he's going to take 2 of them away. And it's your job to write this as a fraction. And if you were paying attention, you would have got the answer of 4 out of 6. So now that we have a basic understanding of fractions, we can now move on to halves and quarters. So guys, you're probably wondering what a half actually is. And a half is simply when you split a number into 2 equal parts. But before we get into all that, we need to know how to write half as a fraction, and it's quite simple. So the denominator, which is the bottom number, is 2, and that's because it's out of 2 parts. And 1 goes at the top because half of 2 is 1, and that means that it's split into 2 equal parts. So half is on one side, half is on the other. It's that simple, really. So now it's time for a quick example. So on the screen here, I'm going to draw 6 circles, and I'm going to be splitting them in half. So to do this, I'm actually going to draw myself a table. One side for one half, one side for the other half. So I'm going to be putting the circles in one by one. So I'm going to put a circle on the left side, and then a circle on the right side. And that's 2 circles done. And then a circle on the left side again, and then another circle on the right side, and then we have 4 circles. But if you notice that there's 2 on one side and 2 on the other, that's because we're splitting them in half and they need to be the same on both sides. And then, you've guessed it, we put 1 circle on the left side again and 1 circle on the right side again. And as you can see, I've split them, but I've split 6 perfectly in half, as we've got 3 on one side and 3 on the other. So that's all you really need to know about finding the half of a number, really. It just takes a lot of practice and a lot of repetition before you guys will be able to do this in your head. But now it's time for the halves quiz. So on the screen, Mr. Ryan Jr. is going to be drawing 10 circles on the screen. And it's your job to tell me what half of 10 is. So without further ado, let's crack on with it. And once again, guys, if you guys were paying attention like superstars, you would have got 5 circles. And you could have done this by drawing a table and then putting 5 circles on one side and 5 circles on the other, just like we did with the example. Now let's move on to quarters. Now you guys are probably wondering what a quarter means. Well, a quarter is actually quite simple. Instead of splitting a number into 2 equal parts, we're going to split it into 4 equal parts. Now let me show you how this is written as a fraction first of all. So this time, because our number will be split into 4 equal parts, we have 4 as the denominator and 1 as the numerator, as we're splitting the number into 4 equal pieces. I hope that makes sense. So let's move on to a quick example. So on the screen, Mr. Ryan Jr. is going to draw 12 circles, and I'm also going to draw a table at the bottom which is in 4 equal parts, as we're splitting the number 12 into 4 equal parts, which is also a quarter. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to grab 4 circles and I'm going to put one of them into one of the squares, and as you can see it's split perfectly, 1 in each square. Now we're going to repeat this process 3 more times. So we're going to put 1 in one square, 1 in the other, 1 in the other, 1 in the other, 3 more times. And as you can see, when we do that, we have 3 circles in each square. So that means we actually know that a quarter of 12 is 3, because 3 circles are in each square, and it's even, and it's perfectly even. There's 3 in one square, 3 in the other, 3 in the other, and 3 in the other. So without further ado, if you guys are paying attention, I think it's time to go straight into the quiz. So for the quiz, Mr. Ryan Jr. is going to draw 16 circles on the screen, and all I want you to do is tell me what a quarter of 16 is. Without further ado, let's go. And if you guys were paying attention, which I'm sure you were anyway, you would have got the answer of 4. So, now that we've done halves, quarters, and what fractions are, it's time for the ultimate quiz. So guys, to become fractions, specifically halves and quarters masters, we need to do the ultimate quiz. So for today's ultimate quiz, Mr. Ryan Jr. is going to write a number on the screen, and you need to find half of that number and also a quarter of that number. Good luck! And if you guys got that correct, good job. You are now halves and quarters masters, and that is a really big achievement, so you should give yourself a round of applause. Anyway guys, the fun has to come to an end, I'm afraid, but don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Peace out.